Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's just another fun-filled Monday. This week we have the CPI on Wednesday, and we have banking news on Friday. So it's like, this could be an action-packed week. There's talk of the CPI could be hot. Now, anything's possible with this government anymore. You don't know what's true and what's false half the time. So at this point, we'll follow the numbers, and that's all you can really do in the end. So, what do we got going on today? Dollar index moving up again. There it is on the. Is that on the screen? No. Let's scroll up there. There's the algorithms. There we are. There's the dollar index right there. And it's up for the day. They did spike it pretty good on Friday, but then backed off towards the end. You can see it's trying to climb into the daily buy from Friday, and at the same time, weekly still in a buy. And it doesn't seem to me like interest rates are going down, and I think that's what this is all about. In the end result, is it's the interest rates, and are they going down? And so, that's the major project out of it all. It's a constant push to see some sign of less inflation, and then they would cut rates, which means that you park your money, and in a currency that has higher interest rates, and that's pretty much the whole story, really. Now, when I just realized something I was thinking about this morning when I said the banking numbers. I want to kind of describe, this is the most curious thing of all. It's the way the media will lie to you. This morning they had this analyst on about banking stocks on Friday. This Friday coming up, JP Morgan, Citi, and Wells Fargo, their earnings come out. And they were saying, these three stocks are looking really great. They're up, from their lows. They're doing fantastic. And I always mention to people around here that Citibank was one of those that kind of disappeared the way Lloyd's and London's did, and a bunch of the others, Bank of Scotland, and I think I went through this rhythm last week. We talked about it, and I just want to show you. It's a perfect example. J.P. Morgan Chase. Very solid company, up 14% for the year. It benefited from the collapse of the financial system. They were one of the strong ones standing, and so they got a lot of free money. I mean, forever. Not just a loan, but they gave them free money. They gave them a $1 billion building on Wall Street, one of the most coveted addresses on Wall Street, and they gave that was Bear Stearns building. And they took over Bear Stearns and got the building for free, and it was almost like for pennies on the dollar, not even a penny on the dollar, and not even half a penny on the dollar. It was horrible. And so then the second stock they came up with was Citibank. Now we all know I talk about Citi. Citi is pretty much owned by the Federal Reserve, like the way the Bank of Scotland and a bunch of others are owned by the central the Exchequer in London. In other words, they got crushed from the calamity, and there's no doubt Citi may be starting to come back. There might, we don't know their real debt, but we know that the stock is, it's doubled since the calamity, which means that the stock used to be at $660 some odd a share. It's trading now at $60 a share. Yeah, that's right, 10 times lower, and at the same time, it went down to around $25 a share. Okay, so that one I'm curious. I don't understand. How much debt they truly have, or how much they actually own. In other words, how much does Citibank own of Citibank? That's the question. How much liability do they have? How much does the Federal Reserve own? We don't know that, but after 16 years, it's not a bad investment. It's okay, but it shouldn't be categorized in the top three banks. And that's how what I'm talking about is, when I said I don't know how they're going to be lying about something, and there's a perfect example. The media itself, the financial media, is lying about it. They don't say, geez, it's still 90% down from its all-time high, whereas J.P. Morgan at any given week can be at all-time highs. Wells Fargo, same situation, can be at all-time highs. A solid company had some problems, but it wasn't from the financial calamity. It was from internal management type of problem, and that's getting straightened out. They lost a lot of their reputation, but overall, that's a perfect example. So that is also up 14% for the year. So they put these three stocks up, but we know that there's one in the middle that it really doesn't deserve that credit. But again, the financial media will do anything it can to pretend the world is normal. There is no QE, and that this is just, when they compare things 30, 40, or 50 years back, we didn't have QE 40 years back or 50 years back, so they can't compare, but they do. They play that game all the time, and it's unfortunate. So that, when I said I don't know what the CPI number is going to do on Wednesday, and we'll see, but at the same time, we know one thing. If this government can, it will make it look like it's positive. And that's all I have to say about that. Now let's drift back to the dollar index. And there's the dollar index on the platform there. That's the beta platform. Let's put the dollar index up on the where's it at? I was looking at something else. There we are. We're going to put the dollar index on the big platform we use every day. There it is right there. You can see it's, again, that's even clearer in the sense of how it got knocked down but still closed above the day before on Friday. And at the same time, we have a good weekly buy going on for 3 solid weeks, just like the beta going on a 4th week now. Same situation. So let me just go back to the betas weekly. Exactly. It's got, we have 4 solid weeks now of we're into a 4th week, and it looks firm to me when you look at it up there. It looks fine. There's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's very positive as far as I'm concerned. All right. From there, I guess we should, if there's no... Oh, you know what I didn't do? Where's the chat line? I didn't look to see what's on the chat line. There's Robin. Hey, Robin. And thank you. I sent a thank you over on the... there. No, I didn't send it. There it is. I sent it over on Bill Johnson's. That's what I did. All right. So from there, we zip-de-doo-dah. We zip-de-doo-dah over to... where do we go there? We go to the euro, I guess. That's it. We'll check out the euro. The euro is next. Euro we are. There we go. Now there's the euro. It's flirting with the minus, just on the edge of it. Didn't get back into the weekly buy on Friday. Let's widen that a little bit. Just on the edge. So, I don't know. This could be like a 1, and this could be the 2. This could be the 3 here. The 4 will be complicated since the 1 was simple. And maybe we'll go do another 5. I don't think we're going to really do much damage to this. We all know that there's a great potential in the future over the next 6 to 9 months, 10 months. We know there's some great potential in the positive side of the financial markets. So even like on Wednesday with the CPI, it's going to be hard. Funds, money managers, funds in particular, are underinvested. Any opportunity to buy, they do. And so that's more of the nature of it all. So as much as you would think, oh, matter of fact, there was a headline in Zero Hedge today, something like, let me see if I can find it again. But it was pretty tenacious. Let's see, I'll do it up on the beta side so you can see it too. And basically, what they were saying is that lot of hedge funds are what do they call it? Shorting the market, and at the same time, what's this? Futures flat as 10-year jumps to 224 high. Bitcoin back to at record. Yep, I saw that earlier. But basically, they're saying that a lot of hedge funds are short, 5 to 1. So for every one that's long, 5 of them are short, which is a big number. Multi-manager funds are 20 times leveraged. With each new billion, the risk of a disorderly unwind only grows. There's a lot of short going on now. I mean, there's a lot of they're trying hedge funds. Yeah, here it is. Let's put that up there on the screen so you can see it. Oh, you can't see it that way. All right, we can do it like that though. Here it comes. Let's go over to the beta side of things right there. And there it is right there. Hedge funds pile into shorts 4 straight days, 8 consecutive weeks as short outpaced longs 5 to 1, Goldman Prime tells us. You never know. The whole thing with Goldman is that they always love to talk their book. So I'm not that trustworthy of it. Remember, they're not only are they they're a very aggressive bank, but they're first and foremost a brokerage house. So that has more. That's what we call talking your own book. So in other words, when they put that statement out, they can back it, of course, or they get in trouble. So they get fined. But they're probably right. I'm sure there's there's a lot more selling going on. We don't know how much that shorting is to protect long positions. That's the thing. They may not be naked short. That's the problem. They may be, selling short against their positions. And that's the biggest thing of all, basically, is that, it is a challenge to understand. Sometimes, I've seen where the media will say one thing, and the next thing you know, it's not really the truth per se. They just give you half the story for the excitement, and they can back it up, but they can't really justify the whole story itself. They really can't. So, again, we're going to be watching we're going to be watching and seeing on Wednesday, and there's not much that we can say about that. I mean, that is a fact of life. All right. Where do we go from here? Let's go. Let me see. Let's see. Let's go over to British pound. What's curious, I guess you say, is I imagine they're doing the same thing. British pound right on the edge. It didn't get into the weekly last week either. You can see it's pressing into the sell side here. Are we able to sit? Yeah. And so I'm not, again, just because there's no buying means there's big selling. And sometimes the markets will just hesitate and hesitate and hesitate. And then they try not to get that involved. Sometimes it's better to just stand to the side. This could be one of those periods where they're standing to the side, because we do know one thing. There's a lot of buyers out there. And we have a Federal Reserve that doesn't want to see stock market go down. They have no interest in the stock market to go down. So you put those two things together, and just as Goldman Sachs, comes out and says, for every 5 hedge funds, only one is buying and the other four are selling, or vice versa. It might be even higher, five out of six. But in the end result, that is not necessarily something that means that they're getting short totally. They're just shorting things. And that's what they said. They're shorting things. But do they know what their overall position is? I doubt it. They probably have a better idea of what they're doing right now in execution, but not. And I used to give the perfect example. I used to work in an office in Stamford, up in Greenwich area in Connecticut. And a major hedge fund was using them as execution. And many a time we would hear the story on TV. Oh, this fellow is, selling... he's long, or it'd be long. It'd be something like, he's long 5,000 oil contracts. But at the same time, he was also selling calls against them, or he was buying puts against them. They never mentioned that part. So they said, oh, he's getting long it. Well, he was building a straddle as far as I can tell. It wasn't necessarily a naked long. So that's the logic to it all in my head. I always think, don't let them screw you up in the head thinking odd things about something, because they really don't know their whole position. They know the execution that they're doing, but they don't know the full the whole fact itself. So, let me see what's next here. Let's jump over to. Let's see, where do we go? Let's jump over to 22222. We did the cable, so let's do the Swiss, the true inflation fighters. I give them credit. I say that every day. And right there, it's turning up again. Which when the Swiss here goes up, when the Swiss is going up like that, it means that it's losing against the dollar. And when our algorithm is turned down and it's going sideways or down, it's gaining against the dollar. Not much good action there in the sense of, it's not really gaining against the dollar. You can see the weekly, how long it's been in the weekly buy. And, it doesn't look like it's ready to quit there either. Most we can say is we see the fast algorithm, that's the blue one. It is starting to, hit the manifold up in here. That's about it. So there's not a lot of selling going on in there. Just steady. And you see how it's plateaued, too. We've seen the same thing with the Japanese yen has plateaued like that also. I haven't even seen the yen. See what they're doing. So let's do that. Let's go check out the yen. There's the yen. And we told you that story again and again, like last week, about Central Bank, or the Bank of Japan, has basically made it very clear they're going to help hold that currency in the 152 area until they can't. I don't know if they have that much money, but it's that's interesting. Let's put it that way. I don't know if it's smart. I would rather let a currency float. I think it makes more sense to just let it float. This Chineseism of fixing things to the dollar, or trying to hold them back is not good, and we've seen this really great move by the dollar yen pairs trade, where it's moved from 105 to 152. Not bad. It's not Turkey, I mean, we've talked about that. Can you imagine if the yen even acted half as wild as the Turkish lira? Not even half. God, that'd be terrifying. Even half. A tenth of the action. Tenth, so it's not, getting going from like 140-ish to 150-ish is nothing. 1.55 or 51 compared to 1.32 or 1.35. Problem in the Turkish lira, we're going to put that up on the screen now, but one of the problems with that is the poor thing doesn't use points. It seems like it just runs like a mad animal. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's up to 30 something now, 35 or 6 or whatever it is, 35. So I mean, on any given day, this thing can be up a whole point. A whole point. I mean, can you imagine if we saw the yen going from like 151 to 238, and then back down to 152, and then like up to 220, 2.23. and then back again, down to, like 1.78. And I'm talking about a normal trading day. That's a normal trading day for the action that we're seeing there with the Turkish lira. Right there, Turkish lira. So. From there, we go over to the metals complex, and we do it by walking through the door of the South African rand. To me, the South African rand seems to be a very good example of what way to appreciate the action. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The what we're seeing here is, just action with the metals. You can see here the rand has been heading down from the one was at the 1890 area. Now we're playing with the 18.60 area. Again, can you imagine if the rand ran around like the way the Turkish lira did? I don't know if people appreciate the calamity the poor people in Turkey are putting up with when you have your currency jumping around the way it does. So, luckily now it's pretty hard for it to double. Thank goodness. Let's hope not. So let's go over to the metals complex. Right there. And there is, gold is at it was 104.14. Now it's offered at 13 or trading at 13. You can see it's trying to climb back into the buy. Oh, wait, that's a dollar index. I was going to say, wait, but that's not gold. That's not gold. There it is. That's better. And on Friday, they gave it a good little boost up right at the end of the day. We're at another all-time high today. Trading at 2,357. And, the algorithm's been in the buy for a bunch of weeks now. And bunch of weeks in the weekly buy. There is silver. And silver looking the same way. It's popped itself up over the $28 area today. That's nice. It's 45% away from all-time highs. Not bad. 45%, yeah. And what else we got going on there? You can see it's been in a weekly buy since the 22 area. So it's up over $6 now. It has gone up over $6, or I guess you say 22, and $6 is literally what is that? That's like a 26% expansion in price. That's pretty good, about 26, 27%, about 27%. Not bad. It's doing a good job. The poor man's gold, basically, and it's doing a fine job with it. Do 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 do. La 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 la. All right, and then let's take a look at the copper. Copper's looking the same way. We're really jacked up this morning. Look at that. And a buy for 2 full weeks, and a weekly buy for what's that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Going on the 9th week now of the buy there. Not bad. So then. We go to the last of the metals that we pay attention to, and that is the platinum. A sip of tea. Let's see what the platinum is up to. There it is. And platinum is, you can see here, just flirting with the daily sell. Still in a weekly buy though. Ding ding ding. Who's ding ding dinging me? A ding a ding a ding a. A ding 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 ding. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. La la. Okay, so that is there. And is there any other things on it? No. There we go. So. There's the platinum. I'm a little surprised that it's flirting. The algorithm on a daily basis is flirting with the sell, but nothing surprises me with the platinum. Unfortunately, um, I am stunned, totally stunned about the way the the platinum is so underperforming the rest of the metals. I mean, we saw $1,100 platinum. What was it? Like 4 months ago, 5 months ago. I mean, it's so hard to believe that the platinum cannot get its act together. I mean, it has some real enemies, which is really strange. I'm trying to find a longer term chart on it. Let's see what we can do here. But I remember $1,100 platinum. When gold broke the 2,000 spot, it was like, wow, all right, they're going to get it to go. Nope. They don't seem to have any ability to get it to go. And I'd have to assume it's just a hedge. Someone is selling the daylights out of platinum and to protect their long gold. It seems odd to me. It's one thing to sell it when it's only $400 or $500. Even when it's $400 or $500, that confuses me. But now that the thing is $1,400 underneath it, is it $1,400? Yeah, it's about $1,400 underneath it. I can't imagine why anybody would want to sell it. I just don't understand it. And who would sell it the way like they do here? I mean, honestly, out of who in the world arena in the financial markets has that ability to intimidate and dominate a major sector of commodities? Well, obviously, the central banks. They're the ones that can sell it. I mean, nobody else can. No one else would be that foolish to sell it this way. That's the thing. And that has been, I can tell you that has been the recipe of the quantitative easing. And that has been what tipped me off right in the beginning. I mean, right in 2000, going into 2009, it was late 2008. And I was like, this is not right. No, there's no way that smart money buys and then buys higher and then buys higher and then buys higher. They don't do that. That's not the way it works. It's usually they try to buy low and sell high, not buy high and then sell it higher. Well, in this case, that not only do they not try to sell it higher, they keep on buying more of it. And in this case, this product, who would sell something that normally has a premium over gold? Now is literally 65% under the price of gold. Nobody nobody would do that with their own money. It has to be, it really has to be, it has to be a central bank or central banks, because for sure, for definite sure, it is not, definitely not, some, hedge fund or, no one has the money like that. And they just don't, and that's the thing right there. Matter of fact, I hear a headline: who could be more stupid with money than the Federal Reserve? No one. That's a lot of words, isn't it? Let's see. Only central banks can be stupid with money. That's better, because that's exactly the way I feel about it. I don't comprehend how an individual. We've seen what happened with individual funds that lost billions and went out of business by selling volatility. But I just don't see anybody. Matter of fact, I saw an interesting article that even plays into this. I just forgot to talk about it, and that is that the what was it? I'm starting to slip there now. What was it? What story was I looked up on the screen, saw something on the tape, and saw that, and forgot about the story. What was I talking about? Money, central banks, and I saw a story that coordinated with that about the stupidity of money. I forgot the story all of a sudden. I just had a senior moment, and so in the end result is that only the central banks would be that stupid to use money that way. Nobody else would do that. Nobody at all. And that story, I'm sure, will come back to my head somewhere along the line. I looked up and saw a very profound something on the tape that caught my eye, and it pulled it right out of my head. But it'll come back. It will call. It will definitely come back. All right. Now I'm going to put that on the tape. That's going to be the title today, and that is central banks only waste money like this, or the Fed only wastes money like this. I think that's what it is. All right. Let's put it on there. I'm going to put it because that is the truest and the way I feel about today's webinar too. Can waste money like this. That is the truth of it all. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was talking about the hedge funds that sold. Oh, I know now. I remembered what I was getting ready to say. It's about gold, and it's about the miners. Miner stocks are not keeping up with the price of gold, which is curious. Usually they push miner stocks up higher than gold, and then they sold them back down again. But usually the speculators go into the miner stocks, but the mining stocks, the mining companies that dig it out of the ground. But no, it's not working that way, which is curious in its own right. And I guess that's really the example of it all. So, only the central bank would be stupid enough to do this. Nobody else would. So you got gold at all-time highs. You have mining stocks at, underneath that, not outperforming that, underperforming the metals complex. So surely isn't them, that's for sure. Alrighty. Righty. Let's see. Now, where do we go from there? We go to From there we go to we'll figure this out in a second. We'll jump over to there we go. I just saw it there. Yep. We go over to the energy sector. And in the energy sector, I'm doing right there on the big screen. You can see oil is, on Friday, oil had gone up to 87.63. We're about $1 lower now, and they pushed it down even lower at one point. Today, they had it down below 85. Now we're at 86.63. They're lifting it up. It's at the highs of the day, and as we speak, the thing keeps on launching itself even higher. We're 8 days. We're 10 days into the. What is it? 10 days into the go. In other words, it's roaring along 63. Another high again. It just keeps on pushing up. I really didn't even understand how they could push the oil down. I understood Saudi Arabia over the weekend, basically, Saudi Arabia basically raising prices. I heard that yesterday. It was in Zero Hedge. So, I really think that there's not much more that can be said about that, and it's awful hard to believe that they can lower prices at this point. Okay, so from there, we go over to the beta so we can take a look at, let's see, where's it at? Right there. Brent. And there's Brent. They did the same thing. They knocked it down this morning, and it's trying to drive its way back up to yesterday's close. where I think we're doing, when it comes to oil's doing the same thing. It's very close here in the States. Now you can see it's been in a daily buy for weeks. It's been in a weekly buy for months. So they're not that comfortable. They're definitely not that comfortable to knock oil down. There's so many good reasons not to want to knock it down at this point. You want to basically go the other direction. You really want to just, if nothing else, you want to have some type of position. And Giannis was saying that on Friday about the idea that maybe oil stocks. He said, Doc, you said the oil stocks look good for for the next 6 months or a year or something like that. I said that probably like 6 months ago or 3 months ago, and it doesn't, to me, it doesn't look like anything has changed. It looks the opposite. It looks like it's going to keep on driving up, not down. So, where do we go from there? From there, we go to can't figure out where else to go. We'll go to natural gas. Let's do that. Let's take a look at natural gas. What do I have up on the screen? Okay, good. We have we'll use it on the beta. And so there is natural gas. And natural gas, 3 days down. It's in a weekly sell for last week, and so we're on a second week, going on a third week. We're going on a third week now on natural gas. Trying to get into the sell. We'll see how it looks tomorrow because it finally catches up. It's delayed by 2 days on the weekly, or 1 day, I guess you could say. So in other words, we're seeing Friday. That was what Friday, how it ended on Friday, just in the minus. So that's 2 weeks of in a weekly sell, and then tomorrow we'll see what this week starts off looking like. And then we were a little surprised on the Friday close. The Spanish energy company that we follow to try to understand the prices in Europe were also reflecting movement down, which was pretty good. That little pop we'll go like that. That little pop we had there over last week was surprising. It was showing some interesting strength, and we thought it doesn't make much sense because the product itself is not really going anywhere. And so you can see it here. It's been down in the in this case the product's been locked in the $20 area for the whole month of March, and now we're in April and we're hanging out down there, and you can see it dropped underneath into the 20s at the last week of or first week of March. So it's underneath $20 today. That's a positive because the lower this goes, the lower the prices are in Europe, which is exactly what everybody wants. Who wants to pay all this money for energy? Only the people who produce it, of course. I mean, that's not a hard thing to figure out. All right. So then from there, we'll go and check out, unless there's some questions. Do we have any questions on the chat? Oh, there we go. We got chat line stuff. There it is. Yana says, hey, Doc, can you show SPY again? Yes, definitely. I don't know. I've been rambling for a while here. Thank goodness. Let's see. Let's check out the SPY. Where's SPY? Right there. We might be getting a pre-market in it now because it opens up in 20 minutes, so that's good too. There is SPY. I think that's Friday, isn't it? Yeah, no, that's today. So it's in there. It's updating. So it's looking pretty good. I think it's got a good chance to get out of this 2-day sell and get into the buy. You see the weekly is turning up. Nope, I got the wrong screen on there. That's right there. There it is. Let me read the rest of the Yanos too. There is talk of a decline after the recent gains, Friday's gains, and anyone on a government payroll can do stupid things because it does not impact any profits. Right, exactly. And that budget making is even more retarded. I agree with you. He ain't looking at the chat today, is he? No, now I am. I'm sorry about that. I was looking at the chat and I got lost. Yeah, so I would say this. First of all, there's no doubt that the SPY... let me answer that other question with you, too. There's talk of a decline after the recent gains. Yeah, and that's why I showed the Goldman Sachs chatter. I think they're just seeing selling against. I'm still here. Can you hear me? Let me just double check my tape here. Yeah. So let me put yep in there. Yep. And so, oh, okay, good. Yeah. So, that's why I showed the Goldman Sachs thing. Goldman Sachs doesn't necessarily know if they're getting short. They just know that they're shorting things, and they've been doing it for 8 weeks straight. He says they've been shorting more than they've been getting long, but we don't know if they're shorting against their long to begin with. Remember, the stock market is up since October, up over 20 some odd percent, like 23%. So, any money manager would be a fool not to sell stock against long stock at this point. Here the first quarter comes in and they're up like 14, 15% for the year. Wow, how many money managers would dream about keeping 14% for the whole year? Guys are not outperforming. These guys are not outperforming the markets. So, when Goldman talks, they're talking their book more than they're talking reality, as far as I'm concerned. But that ends up making a lot of people think, like, oh my God, they're getting short. They're going to sell the longs. It's like, well, we'll see when it happens. The math will pick it up. You know what I mean? So that's the answer. That was the answer to that other chat line thing for you. And then let's see, what else? We had someone. I didn't see Tuver. Oh, how about that? Tuver, I didn't even see you. Tuver Moses. I like that. Tuver Moses. Tuver, hello. How are you? Sorry I missed you there. Glad you're here. I've gotten used to the point where no one asks any questions anymore. I'm glad you picked them out there, Janos. Thank you. I'm so used to it that I'm like, where are they? Where are they? No one's asking questions. Thank goodness someone pops in and says hi. Hello, 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 Mr. Moses, Mr. Moses. Let's see, was it Mr. Smith comes to Washington? Mr. Moses comes to, Dukascopy. Cool. All right. So from there, why don't we go check out some of the? I want to go a little bit further with Janos. So let's take a look at the futures contract. That's the ETF. That's the stock contract. Let's take a look at that right there. Now it's been in a daily sell for 3 days, and you can see here we're getting a green and a red, and this is designed more for 24-hour trading. So you can see the strength there. They didn't get into the weekly sell, but they got close. And I think the Tech 100 did. So let's go to the Tech 100 right there. Yeah, Tech 100 went into a weekly sell last week, then jumped back into the buy for this action on the upside right there. And now it closed in the weekly sell right there. So let's put those in there. So that's interesting. And we saw the same thing with the Dow Jones Industrial Average, I believe. We'll double check that with you too at the same time. But yeah, I'd love to answer questions. It's usually the problem is nobody asks them. That's my sad. Me so sad. We'd like to have people ask questions, but we don't get them. Me so sad. All right. So there's the Tech 100. These are the tech stocks that have been carrying this market for so long. Yeah, SPY is really going up. I mean, here, let's put the SPY back up there again, and you'll see what I'm talking about there. Right there. And it's actually higher than where it settled Friday. It's trading at 519.70. And I believe, there you go. The S&P 500 is settled at 5,002. Oh, wait a minute. This is the, that's it. 5,256 basically, 55.75. So 56 say, and it's trading at 63 right now. So it's $7 higher. So we're seeing buying going on, and we're seeing the same thing with the the Nasdaq or the Tech 100. We're seeing that same type of action going on in there. And but yeah, and oil is just pushing up more. They tried to take it down. It seems like they're failing at it, and now they're starting to maneuver back in the other direction again. All right, let's go over to the beta and check out the world and what they've been doing with all the stock indices this week. How they started the week off. All right, from there we go to the Nikkei. Now the Nikkei is higher today than it was on Friday. Right there, you can see that. There's the Friday close, and there it is today. It's moving up. And let's see. Okay, there we go. So you can see it topped out about 3 weeks. Lost the whole thing there. It topped out about 3 weeks ago, right up in here. And let me see if I can use a better mouse. See if this will show it better like this. Will that do it? Yeah, that does it. Okay, so let's do that. So you can see here it topped out about 3 weeks ago, and it's been moving down. And we've been in daily sales, as you can see, all along here down on the algorithm, down at the bottom, throughout almost all that adventure. And then at the same time, we pushed into the sell. Last week, we closed in a weekly sell, or 2 weeks back now. And then last week, we jumped back into the weekly buy. And that's where it closed on Friday. And we'll see how it shows tomorrow, how we're starting this week off. And you can see right off, this thing is up for the day. So just waiting to see the, what is that? That is the, that's Friday right there. So we're not seeing the algorithm today yet for the Nikkei on a daily basis yet. Now from there, we go over to, that's because our beta system is it's on a delayed system. It's not live. And Giannis is going to help us get connected up once I get the software complete. Now let's go over to the Kospi in South Korea. Same situation, it topped out too, up in here. You see it. You see today it's up higher and even has a green dot, and I think that is today. Is that today? That's today. I think that is today right there. So what we're seeing is it closed in a daily buy today. For some reason it's updating. Maybe it's the timeline. Who knows? But in the end result is that you can see here the weekly same way. Last week it closed in a weekly buy. We'll see tomorrow how the weekly is starting off when it comes to the Kospi. And then from the Kospi we go over to the Taipei index right there in Taiwan. And you can see here, it's like classic because it's all the chips and everything they make. They have a great monopoly on the production of what they sell. So what we're seeing here now is that it's up and it's in a daily buy, and that is that. Yep, that is. Let's see if we see that there. Yeah, so I believe something's wrong there. That seems odd. But it's in a buy, and it looks like it closed in a buy today with no problem. And then from there, we'll go over to the Nifty 50 in India. And you can see that's been in a pretty strong buy situation for this whole move up right there. You see, when you see the algorithm like that, there was strength going on. And same thing with the weekly. It's been in a weekly buy for 10 weeks. It's not letting go. And a lot of these things just don't let go. They just keep on being pulled in the same direction. So. What else can we say about this? I guess that's it. Let's go now. We'll go to the South Indian Sea and Ocean. I'm not sea. South Indian Ocean, and take a look at the All Ordinaries out of Australia. And so you can see here. It was climbing big until last week, and then it went into the sell and started selling down. And what is that reflecting? That's reflecting today. So today, see how it closed in a daily buy there with the green dot and the algorithm above the zero line. And then when it comes to the weekly, it settled last week in a sell, so maybe it'll start to turn around. I have no idea. Usually it takes like 3 days to do that. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if all ordinaries index out of Australia starts to turn. Now, brown cow, we go over to let's go look at the Chinese continent. And there's the Hang Seng. Hang Seng is, topped out about 4 or 5 weeks ago. It's been in a horrible situation, unfortunately, for a decade now. The stock, I think the stock index is down about 40% from its all-time highs, whereas a lot of these other things are playing with all-time highs. It's that fixed currency thing that messes it up. So you can see here it's trying to get into the weekly buy there in the Hang Seng. That's how it closed in a weekly buy actually last week. And we'll just keep an eye on the daily and see if the daily jumps back into a buy and then gets going along. But not yesterday. Nope. Or not today. Let's put it that way. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. And then we'll take a look at the captives of Hong Kong. I guess that's the best way to describe them now. The captives in Hong Kong. And there it is right there. Sloppy topped out about 7 weeks ago. And like you see it, the weekly went into a sell. I guess right in here was that was the at the end of March. Went into end of March? No. Beginning of March, I'm sorry. From the beginning of March, right in here, it went into the weekly sell. Bounced around, tried to get back into the weekly buy there. As you can see right there on the 11th. And then it just rolled over again and it did its sideways thing and tried to lift up, made new lows, I guess you could say, from this high. Took out that low. Then it made a lower high right there. And it made a higher low there. Started to do the flag situation. And the next thing you know is it's still in the sell for daily. And as I like, unfortunately, I kind of think of it as a captive city at this point. All right, and then from there we go over to, we have already taken a look at, we're going to do it here too at the same time. So there is the S&P 500 in the futures contract lifting up, and it's trying to get through, and it's a little delayed, remember? So, and then we go look at the SPY the same way, which we also looked at on the big platform that is live. This is delayed. All right, it's around here somewhere. There it is, right there. Yeah, but it's still in the weekly buy. As Yano said, it's still up. Still up, question mark. And then from there we go to the Qs, right there. And they've been having their issues, minus and plus, more minuses with this slide down. The tech stocks had been so successful for so long that they're taking some profits with the tax season coming around. And next week is the end of the tax season. So then from there, we go to the Dow Jones. Well, we can take a look at the futures too on the NQs right there. Now this is a 24-hour product, so it makes more sense a lot of times like that. You can see it's went into the sell 2 weeks ago, closed on a weekly buy last week. It's been in a daily sell for, I don't know, was that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like 11 days now. And, it's been gliding down. That's why we're happy with our beta. We just need to get it to do live. That's all we need to do now. I just need to write a little bit more code so we can handle the live. All right. So last but not least, we'll look at the grand lady of them all, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You see, last week they really pressed down on that. You can see that all 5 days in daily sells. Closed in a daily. That's interesting. It closed in a daily buy on the beta. I'm sorry, weekly buy. A weekly buy, which is somewhat of a surprise to me. A surprise to me. To me. Woo! That was fun. So, where do we go from there? Matter of fact, I'm going to show you the difference on the live platform, which is curious right there. And as you can see, it's not. I might as well just get rid of that. I don't know let's do this. Let's go over and put up the other one. They've changed the symbol on it. That's why it's doing that. There it is there. So today, is that it right there? That's it. No, what is blazes going on? I thought I fixed that. Well, here, I can do it this way. No, I won't do it this way. Let's fix the symbol itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up where I did fix the symbol. Right there in the 3 week. Here it comes, and then we're going to cut out of here. There's the VIX. VIX is still in a buy for 4 days, and it's in a weekly buy, starting its weekly buy, or did it do that? Yeah, it closed in a weekly buy last week, so we're a second week into the weekly buy now on the VIX. That's live. And then from there, right there, there's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You can see it's in all those cells the same way, and today still in a sell. And it closed in a weekly sell there, but the beta is showing... Oh, wait a minute, you're not seeing this. There it is right there. See, I have the chat line up. No one says, hey, you didn't show us. Let's see. Oh, okay. I have been watching another commentator on the market since 22. Okay, his talk and forecast of the microeconomics is astonishing. But each short-term or medium trade he makes is a total mess. I have a friend like that. Strange how that comes. A friend of mine used to be forever and ever, he was the Market Technicians Association president. And when they couldn't find somebody to be the Market Technicians president, they would beg him to stay the president. So he was president for the Market Technicians Association in America for, I don't know, something like 20 some odd years. And his name is Charlie Kirkpatrick. And Charlie, is been in the markets since 1950s. He's been in the markets. And he's one of the first people that started to computerize the brokerage house, his brokerage house. And they sent him to the University of Pennsylvania where they had the big mainframe. And so he was doing, computerization of markets back in the early 60s. So Charlie always used to say to me, I don't understand it. He came to the trading floor and hung out on the trading floor for something like, 5 years or something like that, 4 years, to try to straighten himself out. He traded in the options floor. And he was the same way as like what you're suggesting. As many as the time that Charlie could give you great analysis. I'm talking great analysis. And he invented some concepts and algorithms. Brilliant guy. Brilliant. But when it came to his trading, if it wasn't long-term, in other words, short-term micro, he always had the same problem. So I hear you, and I feel his pain. I know what's going on. Because poor Charlie would say, what do I need to do? I said, you need to let go. Let it be. Yeah, strange how it comes that way. Even with proper knowledge of background, one can still lose due to not knowing short-term moves. I'd rather be making money than being correct in the info. Right, exactly. And so we show you that live on this webinar every day, and that's the whole gig there. So, but for that, I need a house. I want a dog. So you can kick the dog when you lose? Ha! 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 Don't kick the dog. Don't kick the dog. That's what we used to say on the floor. Don't kick the dog. So getting a dog is a $300,000 issue. Yeah, it sounds like it. It really does. All right, I'm out of here. We will be on the sofa again tomorrow to analyze our psychosis of trading. And so, I had a pet that kept me company during childhood. That is inbred in me. Good. God bless you. All right. And we also got, yeah, I know. That's what we talked about. CPI. There's all kinds of talk for the CPI. All right. We're out of here. It's already, the New York is open. So, happy trails to you until we meet again tomorrow. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, later, traders. Ta-ta for now.